You can banish people still. This blew my fucking mind. I was like, shut the fuck up. You can what?
Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like, I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the planet.
Suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is take 2 for Why Are You Yelling?
We've made it. Oh God, he moved. I'm scared. Okay.
Nobody move.
He's angry.
So we could do a quick life update.
Yeah, before we jumped into the goods.
Yeah, because I know you guys care oh so much.
They need to know.
So my night was one of those where you kind of wake up in the middle of the night and you just don't know what happened, like who you are or what time it is or where you're at.
I feel that way
happened.
when I nap too long.
Yeah.
I'm not a good napper.
I basically just took a long nap before I went to actual sleep.
Yeah.
So I got home last night. I went to my mom's, had like a work Christmas party thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got home a little later than normal and I was like, little munchy, had me a little snacky snack, took a shower.
Girl dinner.
Yeah. I halfway started to get ready for bed. So, you know, I did like half my skincare, but didn't moisturize yet.
So you took off your makeup.
And wash my face, yes.
Okay.
But then like I hadn't put on moisture,
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't taken my contacts out, I hadn't brushed my teeth or put retainer in because I know that's so cute. But you know, straight-ish teeth require retainers most of the time. Hadn't done any of that, right? So I didn't even make up my bed. So I had taken all the my bed because for those who don't know, I have been sleeping on my couch for the last 3 months. Because my bedroom has a hole in it.
Yeah.
From a hurricane that happened a couple months ago. And still hasn't been fixed.
Mm-hmm. We're going to work on that today.
Yeah. And so I've been sleeping on my couch and I still put my bed sheet, my fitted sheet over my cushions because I'm not trying to like sleep on my couch with like that's uncomfy with no sheets on it because the texture of it is like a woven kind of. Not great.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fine for sitting, but not for sleeping. So I still put my fitted sheet on the bed. I have my pillowcases. So I stripped my bed and washed all my sheets. So I was literally just laying on my couch with my comforter over top of me. At some point, I grabbed a pillow, no case on it. Like, I don't know what happened.
Oh my God.
I know.
No case.
I made the mistake. I laid down.
That's a very large error.
Yes, because I was already so tired.
Yeah.
Halfway kind of getting ready for bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I laid down in the middle of it because I was tired. And then that was where the critical error was made.
Yes.
Because then I fell asleep watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with starring Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. Thank you. I was like, she's one of the blondes.
She's a bad bitch.
Which is one of the classic rom-coms.
Oh, yeah.
One of my faves.
Yes.
And I wasn't even that far into it. Like, they hadn't even made it to the basketball game in the movie yet. And the next thing I know, I'm watching the end of Footloose.
Oh, it just started to, it was like, you might like this movie.
It auto-played the next movie. I'm at the end of Footloose. I'm like, Kevin Bacon is on my screen, like, dance battling with somebody. I don't know. And then I'm like, my contacts are dry sandpaper in my eyes. I just I look around. I'm like, all the lights are still on. I'm like, how did this pillow get under me? And then I was just like, oh, I didn't brush my teeth. And it's 4 a.m. I was just like, what happened?
What happened?
And so then I'm like, oh, I still have to do all the things I didn't do before. So I literally at 4 a.m. had to get up, take out my contacts, which was an ordeal because the left one, I could still see the edge of it and it was fine to come out. The right one, you couldn't see the edge of it. It had melded with my eyeball. And like even like trying to do the like pinch it off, it didn't even grab onto anything. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally going to go blind. So I'm dealing with that. I still got to brush my teeth, clean my retainers, put those in, make my bed.
At that point, I just give up and go back to sleep.
At 4 a.m.
You just accept, like, this is a gross night for me, and I'm just going to deal with this in the
morning.
morning.
And I had to moisturize.
Oh, my God.
I was going through it. And then, so at 4 a.m., I then somehow managed to go back to sleep. And my cats are looking at me like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why are you moving? It's 4 a.m. But yeah, I somehow managed to go back to sleep. And then I woke up at 10 a.m. and we said we were going to be here at 11. And then thank God you texted and were like, I just got up. And I was like, girl, me too.
Let's be honest. Even if I would have been like, you still good? If I would have like been in a universe where I was good, you were just going to be like, I'm running late, and it would have been fine.
Yes.
Because that's how it is.
Yes.
So for once, you were waiting for me here.
That was first time ever.
That was because at Walgreens, I just thought I was going to die in this line. Because I didn't want to go to the gas station to get my Red Bull. I want to go to the Walgreens. And I thought I was going to die in the line at Walgreens because it was just like, oh my fucking God. It is what it is. My life update, I'll try to keep brief because it's just whatever. I had to go to a Christmas party in Atlanta yesterday for Travis's family. It was supposed to take me 3 hours, and I would like to point out... To drive. I do not want to hear this. It's the holidays. Atlanta traffic is bad. I know this. I do not need you to tell me. I do not need anybody to say to me, it is December, and it is Christmas, and it is Atlanta. I know these things.
And Atlanta is home to the biggest airport in the world.
I have lived here in Georgia since 2012. I do not need to be told these things. I am well aware of these things, so do not come for me. Because even in our town right now, who the fuck are all these people? Who is here? The traffic where we live in a small town. Who the fuck is here? Get the fuck out. There are so many people. The traffic is ass. So even for Atlanta traffic yesterday, straight up ass. It took me 5.5, almost 6 hours to get to this fucking party. I was 2 hours, which was fine because we actually ended up getting there right as they were doing dinner. It took so long that I was like, I don't really like being late to things. I do not enjoy it. I'm not saying people enjoy it, but some people it bothers. Some people it doesn't. I'm one of those that it is very annoying to me. I don't like being late.
I don't like being late either. It stresses me out, but...
Does it?
It just is what it is.
I just don't think it can stress you out that much if you're late all the time.
Yeah, I'm just in a constant state of stress.
It just feels like there's a solution to some, but to me,
you would think
this was very much it said it was going to take 3 hours, and all of a sudden it's not going to take 3 hours. I don't really know. There's not, unless I left at 6 a.m., didn't really know that there was going to be a solution. I was not going to leave at 6 a.m.
And also, why should you have to plan to get somewhere for a Christmas party that's only going to last for a couple hours? Like, I got to plan to get here the day before to account for traffic? Because basically, it's what you would have to do.
Yes. And so, it was just fucking nuts. So, I mean, the traffic was just the absolute worst ever. And
so
then Siri...
when did you drive up there? You drove up the day, Saturday?
Yeah, we left yesterday at like 12, 1 or something like that. So, we were going to get there around 3:34. Mm-hmm. No, we didn't. No, we fucking didn't. Oh my God. And then finally Siri's like, you can save like 30 minutes doing this. And I was like, okay. And we got there at like 5:40 something.
Listen, never ask me to go into or near Atlanta between like December, basically between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Like, bro, I just don't want to have anything to do with it.
It was just like, what the fuck? So we got there. It was actually a pretty good time for the most part. It was fun. And then we decided to just drive back last night because the traffic today was just going to be just as bad. So I'd rather drive in the middle of the night and get home.
When it's less busy.
Yeah. So we got home at like 2. And then I made the fatal mistake of I ended up falling asleep in the car, but I fell asleep like this. I didn't put my seat back. I just was knocked out.
Oh, head down.
And let me tell you what happened. I woke up and I was like, my neck, I'm dead. I'm dead. Somebody call an ambulance. I literally thought I was going to die. So that
did you know
it's really horrible.
The travel pillows that you're supposed to wear to help your neck if you fall asleep traveling, you're supposed to wear them backwards. Like you know how it's shaped like a U? Mm-hmm. The openings of the U are not supposed to go like in front of you. They're supposed to go behind you because the thicker part is supposed to hold up your neck.
That makes sense.
It does, right? But then I'm like, I feel like that looks stupid.
Well, I bought a different travel pillow on purpose that will literally just make me go. Because I'm like, yeah, I need something for this situation. And so, yeah, I'm like being held up. I don't care if I look dumb on a plane. After trialing for paintball so much, I'm like, no, I don't care. I need to go to sleep. So, yeah, that was my life update. And it was hell. And it made me very angry. And I wanted to just murder everybody on the interstate. So,
traffic frustrates me to no end. And I know it frustrates a lot, but some people I think don't mind commutes or like driving or sitting in traffic. Like it really doesn't bother them. Enrages me. Like and I've said before, I think on this podcast, I've said to you many a time, if it takes me longer than 10 minutes to drive anywhere, I'm going to murder somebody.
10 minutes?
Longer than 10 minutes to drive anywhere.
Like in town? Like particularly in town?
Specifically, yeah, in town.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm really inconvenienced if I have to drive anywhere more than 10 minutes. Realistically. It bothers me. I suck it up. I deal with it, but I'm not happy about it.
I don't mind driving places. I just don't want to sit behind somebody for 400 years. Mm-hmm. If we are just good, I'm good. Like I don't mind a long drive. Like that's fine with me. I just can't stand traffic. And I can't stand lights or stop signs. Fuck
Let
off.
me just go.
Like let me just be on the fucking way. Cannot stand it. But yeah, that's pretty much my life update. Was just ass. And so now it's Christmas time and I'm leaving never again. Staying at my house forever.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story. So some interesting news in Formula One. We've had multiple. I don't know if anybody's shocked. So by the time this episode goes out, this would have been probably 2 or 3 week old news. But the point is, maybe
I don't know that anyone's following our podcast for latest up to date F1 news. So
not yet.
They keep up tangentially with Formula One through us.
Honestly, you need to, yeah. So Sergio Perez he leaving Red Bull. It's been from 2025. He's done. I'm shocked.
You know, you could tell when the decision was made for him to not continue on with Red Bull after the new year, basically into 2025, when the language of how they were answering questions changed. So it went from, they've been asking Sergio Perez basically all season, are you going to be with Red Bull next year? What's your future with Red Bull? He signed a contract, I think it was before the summer break or around the summer break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was rumored that he wasn't going to get it and Daniel Ricciardo was going to take it the rest of the year. And then it was not that.
Yeah. And so he signed the new contract and then every answer to the question was, I'm tired of answering this question. I am with Red Bull. I will be driving for them in 2025. I have a contract with them. And then at some point, the language of answering the question started changing to, I have a contract. So I have a
Every
contract.
time Sergio Perez was saying, I have a contract, who would just Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon are on the corner going,
do ya? Do you know?
Just so you know, that don't mean shit.
Yeah.
So, and then after he was announced that he would be leaving and the whole world was so shocked, the question for a minute was, who's going to be taking this Red Bull seat?
I wonder.
So I had hopes for a moment that it would in fact be Yuki because he did test for them, after the season ended. He was in the Red Bull suit and he looked so good in it. And no, they have decided to give the Red Bull seat to Liam Lawson, who has done fine in RB. I mean, he's got beef with multiple people at this point. So I mean, being a Red Bull driver probably makes sense. But yeah, I'm very disappointed for Yuki. I think that's kind of a shitty move for him. Not saying that Liam is a bad driver by any means. I just think that it's really disappointing to see Yuki be somebody who's been like consistent, who like, I think he deserves that seat.
He's worked for it.
Yeah, I mean,
think he's earned it.
He's earned it. And it's just kind of like, let Liam prove himself a full season first before he hasn't even done. He helped Daniel because Daniel got hurt last season, or this 2023. So he had to cover for him then. Then he took Daniel's seat this year for the last few races. And it's kind of like, well, why don't we see how he performs a full year before you just give him the fucking Red Bull seat? Like, give it to Yuki, who deserves it and who's earned it and who's worked for it.
Well, I've seen many people point out 2 major things. One being that every person that they've brought into RB, which for those who don't know, basically you have Red Bull Racing, which is like considered like the main team, the primary big sister team. And then you have RB, Racing Bulls. They're called VCAR, a couple different names. But basically RB is like the junior team. It's like the support team. And so they will oftentimes put their more inexperienced drivers in the junior team, let them get some experience under their belt. And if they perform well, they'll pull them up. It's almost like how major league and minor league teams work in baseball. Or even in basketball, you have the NBA teams and then the G League teams where they can
maybe even like varsity and not, or like junior or whatever.
Yeah, where basically you can pull people up if they're performing, you can send them back down if they're underperforming. You can kind of interchange people.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, I've seen a lot of people pointing out that, you know, whenever they brought in Nick DeVries to RB and they said, your metric for if you can get promoted to Red Bull, the big sister team, is you have to beat Yuki Tsunoda, who's already been at RB for a couple of years. And they're like, you have to beat Yuki. Well, Yuki outperforms Nick DeVries. Nick DeVries leaves. And then, was it Daniel took over Nick DeVries' seat? Mm-hmm. And then Daniel, his metric for if you're going to get brought up to Red Bull is you have to beat Yuki Tsunoda. Again, Yuki Tsunoda outperforms Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo loses his seat and was replaced by Liam Lawson.
Which really, in a way, Daniel's first season with RB was kind of, he brought in the middle of the season or was he brought in the new? And then he got hurt. So really his metric for his first season at RB wasn't even really like a thing because he was hurt. Then he only, I don't know how many races he even did for them.
But even still,
yeah,
in this 2024 season, the metric was you have to beat Yuki, outperform him, and that's all you have to do. That's literally that's the rumored metric, right? Yeah. Outperform Yuki, you will prove that you can do it, you will be brought up to Red Bull. He didn't do it. Gets replaced by Liam Lawson. And again, Liam Lawson, the metric is you have to outperform Yuki Tsunoda. So Yuki Tsunoda, his performance is sort of this benchmark that if you can outperform him, you can get brought up to Red Bull. Mm-hmm. And again, Yuki was outperforming Liam for the back part of the season. And Christian Horner is so full of shit when they were asking him, why isn't Yuki being given the opportunity? Why are you giving it to Liam Lawson? And then Christian Horner starts saying, oh, well, you know, really, when you start looking at the race pace and, you know, it's very close for splitting hairs. But if you look at the race pace, Liam Lawson was outperforming you. I'm like, are you kidding right now? I'm like, are you really kidding? What are you talking about? You're like, literally, I feel like you're lying to me. You're gaslighting me.
I feel like you're gaslighting. I'm like, did we watch the same stuff? Like, am I being, hello?
And so they pull, and I'm like, how are you going to keep using Yuki Tsunoda as his benchmark?
But that's not good. But his benchmark isn't good enough.
Yeah. Like, but he's outperforming all these other people. And I'm like, at what point is he good enough for you to bring up to Red Bull? So I'm like, to me, that's a fair critique, right?
Yeah.
And then, so there's that. And then I see other people talking about why Yuki was even brought on in Formula One and got a seat at RB in the first place was because of Red Bull and RB's relationship with Honda as an engine manufacturer.
Yep.
And that basically Yuki he's a Japanese driver and Honda's Japanese company. And so basically Honda, as part of their sort of agreement with Red Bull, they're like, no, we want at least one Japanese driver in Formula One. So they brought Yuki up, right? And so people are saying, oh, well, you know, Red Bull never really wanted Yuki in the seat, but he came as a package with Honda. And they were never even ever really considering Yuki as like a full-time future part of, I don't think they ever intended to bring him up to Red Bull. He was always going to be on the junior team until like Pierre Gasly, he got tired, and Alex Albon, he got tired of waiting as part of the junior team and made the move to go somewhere else, which again, Christian Horner even said in his interview where he's like, you know, Yuki's been with RB now for, you know, 5 years. And at some point, you know, you got to stop being the bridesmaid and go somewhere else if you're not brought up to the main team. Like, you know, people get tired of being the bridesmaid. And then I know some people were like, oh, I'm offended. How is he going to call Yuki Tsunoda a bridesmaid? I'm like, calm down. It's a comparison. You're talking, it's not saying that.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
No.
People were super offended by that, and I'm just like, chill out.
It was probably a few 12-year-old. It was a few 12-year-old girls that were probably offended.
Yeah,
by it.
I'm like, literally, he's just using an analogy. It's okay.
Like, relax, guys.
But then, but so you know, he even said, you know, the basically insinuating that their plan was to keep Yuki waiting, keep him.
Yeah.
And he's just a seat filler until he gets tired of waiting and then moves on to another team.
Somebody's moving to Toyota. Toyota is getting into Formula One, and so I saw the rumor where that might be where wherever Toyota goes is where Yuki will end up going. I forgot.
No, Honda's moving to Aston Martin, I believe. No, not Aston Martin. Sauber. What's Sauber becoming?
Toyota is coming onto the scene though. Like Toyota.
But I don't think that's where Yuki's going. I think he's staying with Honda. But Honda's.
But they're both Japanese. I think I was seeing the rumor where that could be, because I guess that could be a scenario we could see. Because I think Toyota is also Japanese. So I think like if it's not Honda, because I think Toyota. I don't know the last time they were a part of Formula One, but I know they're coming back. And so I saw some article talk about that, and I was like, oh well, at least I guess you'd have at least two people maybe rooting for you, because I saw they did something about Toyota engines coming back, and I was like, who are they? I forgot who they were going with though. Haas is return to F1. That's okay.
It says Honda is going to make full scale F1 return in 2026 as they join forces with Aston Martin.
That's when Honda's coming back.
No, Honda's already there.
What'd you just say then? I thought you just said
Toyota. Honda.
Toyota's coming in 2026.
I don't know anything about Toyota. I'm just talking about
what's when Toyota's return to Formula One?
Honda, who is tied to Yuki Tsunoda. That's what a lot of people are saying, is that basically Yuki's the rumor is he'll finish out his 2025 season with RB. And then for 2026, when Honda makes the move to join Aston Martin, then Yuki will go with them to Aston Martin.
Yeah, Haas has made the move. So Toyota has had a 15-year hiatus with Formula One. Haas is bringing them back. So I think there was just speculation that because they're coming back onto the scene, basically he'd just have another Japanese manufacturer probably in his corner if something were to happen with Honda. But yeah, bringing Toyota Motorsport, ARM Toyota, Gazoo Racing, TGR on board alongside partners Ferrari, and so that'll be interesting to see. It is disappointing because Yuki really deserved it. And the thing is, I wasn't surprised, just disappointed. And it has nothing to do with Liam Lawson. Has nothing to do. I just am like, we'll see how him and Max are as team. That's something that I think will be very interesting. Him and Max being teammates.
Yeah, because Liam hasn't really made any. I won't say he hasn't made friends. He's definitely rubbed some people the wrong way, very obviously, in his first couple of races this season. So.
We'll see.
As being kind of a little aggressive, a little hot-headed. But, I mean, Max was a little aggressive when he first... A lot aggressive.
Yeah, but
is still
he's
a little bit.
He's Max Verstappen.
Yeah. So,
I'm like, that's little... That's, I don't know. I mean, you have like a reserve... Saying you have a reserve driver come onto the team. Like, Max was never like a reserve driver. He like was immediately... He was a driver who just was aggressive. It was kind of a little jarring, I guess, where it's like Liam's just been waiting for the seat. He gets it, and then he's like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm like, okay, that's one way to do it. And he got the seat. Worked for him. Disappointed for Yuki, though. I definitely was. I was really hoping, because we saw Yuki in that Red Bull, like the Red Bull attire when he was testing for them. So that leaves that RB seat to Isaac Hajar. He was in Formula 2. He did really well for Red Bull, and now he's been promoted to the junior team, so he'll be with Yuki Tsunoda. It is nice to see that actually work. That's what those series are supposed to be for. So it's nice to see that younger drivers, instead of just getting thrown into a reserve seat for years or something, he's actually just getting the seat. So be interesting to see. So we'll have a lot of rookies on the grid.
Yeah. It's interesting how like the whole, like not just the feeder series, but even just like the academies, like the driver academies function and the idea behind them. Because the idea is to always, for the driver academies, it's, for those who don't know, it's when the teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, what happened to my voice just then?
I don't know.
It cracked.
Ferrari!
Yeah. Alpine, they basically will identify younger drivers in different series and then pull them into their academy where they spend money to help them continue racing and developing as racers, because they're putting them in the pipeline to potentially eventually become a Formula One driver for that team when they get to a certain age and a certain point in their career. But I'm like, how many, academy drivers do you have in the pipeline? Because, and how long are you expecting, like, what's the actual anticipated or average career length of a Formula One driver. It's not very long, as we've seen for a lot of people. But then you occasionally get people that are in there for, decades. So it's like, it's a case of, you're in certain things where it's like, with Max Verstappen, he, came up with Red Bull and was put into a Formula One seat at a very young age. But he's been with them for when did he join? When he was 17?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the whole like a rule was changed so he could join, and then he joined, and then they changed it back, and then they were trying to he was 17.
And how old is he now? He's
27, 28.
He's 27. So he's been with Red Bull for
27?
like 10 years now.
Okay.
And so that's 10 years that one particular seat has been, taken up. And how many academy and granted, Red Bull does now, they have 4 different seats that they can fill with their academy drivers. So they're in a different position than some of these other teams. But still, that's one seat that's been solidly taken up for the last 10 years. And so you could have a driver that started off in your academy at, 12 years old. When Max, joined Formula One, that they could have gone, that driver at 12 years old could now be 22. There could not be a seat for him. So what's he going to do? Go race in other series, And so it's a case of like what is the actual expected turnover in Formula One? How long are you expecting drivers to actually stick around?
Well, see, that's what sucks, because it feels kind of like, I feel like some people are getting aged out almost too quickly because everybody wants the next Max Verstappen, because now everybody's like, oh my God, let me go ahead and get a child, basically, put them in, and then like, let's see. Like, I kind of am like, I don't necessarily love that. I like experienced drivers. I think you get a lot of like, I understand. I think that having somebody like Max is something that it just happens, and it's not a regular occurrence, but I think every team now is one thinking it should be. And I'm like, no, I like seeing experienced drivers drive these cars. I don't think every single person needs to have a rookie that's 17, 18 years old in these cars. It just seems like, because I also think you're hurting their career by not letting them get more experience driving, because how long have they actually been driving a Formula car to begin with?
Not to mention, Formula One is, considered the pinnacle of motorsport. It's kind of where a lot of drivers' ultimate goal or dream is to end up there. So what happens when you peak at, you've achieved your dream at 17, 18 years old? What happened? That's your peak. There is no going up from being a Formula One driver if that's your career, right?
Yeah, there's other series to go do, but if your whole dream, I'm saying if your dream was to do Formula One.
I would say everything else is considered a step down.
I think that completely depends, like, what you like as a person. I think some people, they enjoy more of like because like Le Mans is a very big deal.
But that's a different sort of racing.
Well, yeah, I'm saying there's different series to go. Yeah, you're never going to catch somebody going and doing Formula 2 or Formula 3 after that. After their Formula One career. There are 100 different like racing series they could go do. But yeah, if you're like someone like Daniel Ricciardo, if your dream was Formula One, then yeah, what are you gonna do now that doesn't feel like a step down? Maybe.
Yeah, because I guess I consider Le Mans or like endurance racing. It's a completely different sport. It's still motor racing, but it's different. Like Le Mans is as different from Formula One as like Formula One is to drifting. They're just completely different. So it's like, again, Le Mans could be considered like, the pinnacle of endurance racing. I don't know I'm not as familiar with endurance racing, but there's different, I guess, pinnacles for different types of driving you would want to do. But I just, in terms of like the type of racing that is Formula One.
The open wheel. So, you have IndyCar and then you have the Formula stuff. because like you have LMP, but that's not open wheel. So it's kind of like, with that particular style, then yeah, it's like it's the NASCAR of those types of cars.
Yeah, and so but getting back to the point is that when you peak so early and you get to what is considered the pinnacle of that particular motorsport style of driving, type of racing, and what if you don't succeed? What if you don't do well? You look at Nick DeVries, who got into Formula One, and he was considered to be the next sort of like up and coming sort of thing. Did really well in like the lower categories, and then got to Formula One, basically just crashed out, like just did not do good. And then he's out of Formula One, and so then what now? And I think he's doing like endurance racing now.
I think wasn't he not in Formula E?
Something like that. I don't know. But apparently he's doing well in there. So, but I guess the thing is like what
Formula One is the definition of sink or swim.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. But and then,
it's kind of unfair.
And then if you sink, it's like, okay, well, I guess you go do something else now. But then when it happens when you're so young,
yeah, I think
it's just like,
bruh. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think a lot of people are getting set up for failure, and I don't necessarily love that it's like we're calling people that are 34, 35 years old washed up and need to get out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like some of these guys didn't even like some originally like people were in their 20s getting in Formula One. Like it's bizarre. I don't know. I hate that aspect of it.
I mean, you look at drivers like Pato O'Ward, who is like a star in IndyCar and has been kind of waiting in the wings for McLaren. Like he has made it very well known his goal is to get to Formula One. But at this point, like with McLaren, there's just not a seat available to him right now. And like I would love nothing more than for him to get a chance in Formula One because I like him. But I mean, he also, I had listened to a 20-minute podcast episode where they interviewed him and they were asking him about, he did some testing and stuff for McLaren and did one of the testing sessions, or he's done a couple of them this season. And they were asking him about that and the differences between IndyCar and Formula One. And he had some really good insights, but, someone asked him a question about like, if your goal is to ultimately get into like racing, like what's your advice to them? And he's like, honestly, anytime you can get behind the wheel of any sort of car in any sort of series, do it. Because he's like, I think one of my biggest strengths is that I've raced so many different types of cars. I'm very versatile. And he's like, I adapt very quickly. He's like, so you can throw me, and in Formula One, you can drive one car for one team and another car for another team. They're completely different. They handle differently. He's like, so I feel like one of my strengths is my versatility. And I'm like, the only way you get to that point of being that versatile and being that adaptable and being able to jump into a team and, very quickly get it tuned to the car and what to do and what not to do and the style of driving you have to do to compensate for the car. Yeah. The only way you get that good is experience. And the only way you get experience is by spending time in other series, driving other kinds of cars. And when you're putting kids into these Formula One cars at 18 years old, they do not have that experience. It's a matter of fact, they don't. And so you're kind of limiting their ability to grow and develop.
And their length of their career they're going to have there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of nuts. I'm just like, we'll see. I mean, it's kind of almost like there really should be more Formula style series for people to go into, because it's kind of like Formula 3 and Formula 2 are clearly designed for like beginners. It's kind of like, okay, well, there needs to be this other series that you've got these in-between people in that has actual money into it, that has more development put into it, that you can actually have these people in. That's more of because Formula 2 and Formula 1 are completely different. The cars are completely different. There's nothing similar about them. I mean, they're nothing, not even the way the teams function. It almost would be helpful to have another series that you could profit off of. And you would have teams that are, maybe it's smaller scale, or maybe it's almost like this step. It's cars that are being developed, cars that are like, you actually have teams and you have the pit crew and you have these things and you have technologies in these cars where it's like a junior series that's truly a junior series versus like these bare bone cars in Formula 2 that don't even have power steering, and then you hop into a Formula 1 car and it does, and you have it's just completely different.
Even if there were a series where they were using older Formula 1 cars, like models from previous years, because obviously, the way that the Formula 1 cars have been developed over the last several years, they're getting way faster and faster because of the ground effect era of cars and stuff. Put them in an older style Formula 1 car because it's closer to what they're driving now. But it's just, like you said, it at least would be something that's more of an in-between step.
But then that would kind of suck to know that you're about to get into the Mercedes car that was total ass. It's, I'm about to drive the RB19. Fuck yeah, bro. And then you're like, let me get into this Mercedes. Bleh. Or you want to get in this Williams? No. I already saw how that went down a few years ago. I'm fucking good. Because you're not, because I'm like, because that's what sucks with like Formula 1 cars. They're not all built the same. And sometimes it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are if the car's ass. That's always a debate. And I'm like, I think a good driver can only do so much with an ass car. If the car will not turn, there's not a lot you can do about it. But yeah, it's kind of the whole structure of it's really odd. It's a different sport. Very weird. The last Formula 1 update we have is Valtteri Bottas has went home to Mercedes as a reserve driver.
Oh.
So that was nice. That was fun. Happy for him. Love to see him back. So at least we'll see him in some practice sessions for sure. That'll be nice. But pretty much our Formula updates.
Yeah.
So yay for us. Did you know that states can still banish people, by the way?
I did not.
Okay, I'm working on I'm doing this transcription work on the side, and I'm listening to this lawyer, and she says, because he's been banished from this county and this county. And I said, banished? What did she say? So for about 2 minutes, I keep hitting rewind and listening to this word. Convinced that I'm not hearing this correctly. No. You can banish people still. George, yes, this blew my fucking mind. I was like, shut the fuck up. You can what? So banishment is a legal punishment that requires a person to leave a city, county, or state. It is also known as exile or deportation. So in Georgia, where we live, wow, sorry, I heard a noise and it just threw me off. It varies by state, but Georgia, a person can be banished from a county or city, but not from the state completely. That being said, Georgia could be like, I'm going to banish you from all of these counties and just exile you to like one county if they really wanted to.
But what if you get banished from every county in this?
You can't. So they can't banish you.
The state can't banish you, but if every single county in the state at the county level banishes you, you effectively, like, it's not a state ban, so the state can't do it. But if every county says you can't be here, then effectively you can't stay anywhere in the state.
Well, I think that there's laws in place because you can't be banished from the state. So I think that, I think that was like an extreme thing where they're like, you're banished from every county.
Well,
but I
guess what I'm saying is like the state can't make that determination. But if every individual county says you ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. If every single county at the county level says that, then
I'm sure that then you'd have to go to like state court or something.
Then you just can't live in any county in Georgia because it's not a state. It's not a state thing.
I don't know how the laws are for. I don't know that you would be really fucked if you you're just you'd have to do like
something wrong
in every county, and that's like
it's very unlikely to happen, but in theory it could happen.
Maybe. So yeah, you can banish people from a county, and then you have to get certain like provisions, and I guess the banishments can be lifted at some point. But the word banish used threw me for a fucking loop. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah.
What did this person do to get banished from two? You said 2 counties?
Yes. So what did he do? He's being sent to a rehab and drugs and police. Like, I think he was like resisting arrest. There was a whole thing with an officer. It was a whole thing. And they were like, we're done with your ass. We're done with you.
I'm tired of dealing with you.
It was so
do you imagine?
I literally was like, what do you mean banished? So yeah. And then you have to get certain permissions. Like you cannot be. And if you get caught in the county, you're going to get in trouble. It's nuts. It was fucking nuts. I was like, oh my God.
So that means if you get banished from a certain county, maybe you move to a neighboring county. If you need to get to the county, because like our county that we live in, if you were banished from it and you had to move to like the one to the right of us, what if you need to get to the county that's on the left of us? You would have to go all the way around or just hope and pray you don't get caught if you're cutting through. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you have to get like special permissions for like funerals and stuff.
You know what's nuts is that some counties are not just like, they don't have very even borders. So there's, because near-ish where we live, there's the swamp. And that county is all fucked up, the borders of it, because it has to go around the borders of the swamp. And so like that, you could have like a little outlier chunk of a county. If you get caught in there, it's like, well, I didn't fucking know.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So I was like, banished? I was like, this is some like medieval shit.
Yeah.
You're banished. I was like, oh my Lord.
Wow.
That blew my brain. I was like, okay, that's fucking funny. So yeah, you should check up the banishment laws in your state and see what they are.
I'm trying to imagine what I could possibly do that would.
Some people do it, you
want to get banished.
So, some banishment stuff, like, so here's an example. Maryland, banishment is prescribed as a punishment for corruption. There's a lot of states that will banish you from certain areas for sex crimes. So they can banish you from like school zones or banish you from live. So there's different examples of banishment. But the fact that you're going to be banished from a whole fucking county or city is hysterical to me. I'm like, damn, they're like, you're done here. We're done with your ass. We're sick of you. And I'm like,
you're costing us tax dollars. We're tired of dealing with you.
The county government, the government has decided you're someone else's problem now. Better not catch you around these parts no more. I'm like, wow. I just thought that was very funny. And the only other thing that I have to really complain about that has had me yelling is I feel like I really loved TikTok for a while. It was a fun place. Every fucking thing on that app is an ad. And it's because TikTok decided to give regular people the ability, because TikTok Shop has given regular people the ability to be like, oh my God, you like this purse? And this purse is so fucking cool. I love this purse. You can click this link. And it leads you to TikTok Shop, which then you can buy that purse, but this person's going to make money now because you're actually buying it because they advertised it. So like regular people are now have the ability, and I don't like that. I don't like it because, and here, this is why, because now all I see is just people trying to make money, regular people, which I mean, I respect the hustle, but I'm sick and tired of seeing a fucking video about this fucking back massager. Shut up. Every time I fucking scroll, which you can't relate really. Some of you can. Yeah, some of you motherfuckers, you're going to know what I'm talking about. There's this, you know how at Walmart or maybe, I don't know, a while ago, you got last year, that back massager. It's something similar to that, but they sell it on TikTok. Every video, every other scroll is somebody trying to sell me something. And that back massager, that was it for a minute. They're like, oh, did you buy this one? You should have bought this one. Shut the fuck up. Where's the funny skits at? Where are the skits? I don't give a fuck.
So I'm confused about, so the people aren't advertising stuff that they sell on their own TikTok shop. They're just advertising things that are available to purchase on TikTok and putting a link. And if someone clicks their link to buy it, they make money off of it.
That seems to be, because now it's regular people.
But so it's almost
somebody
like
I know is doing,
it's like an affiliate link kind of.
Basically, it's affiliate links, but to TikTok shop pretty much. And so it's literally, and this is what's ruined TikTok to me, because now it was supposed to just be funny content.
So I'm like, is it TikTok that's giving people affiliate links, or is it the people who run that particular shop on TikTok are giving people affiliate link codes?
Well, TikTok's giving them the ability. No, so like literally there's this thing where you can always see it. There's this little special bar right above like the title or the name on TikTok in the bottom left-hand corner that leads you to TikTok shop, that leads you to that shop. So I'm under the assumption that so this link is linked to this video that you're putting out. If I click it, it's automatically linked to your TikTok account because you posted it and they gave you the ability to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting here like, you have ruined TikTok. It's ruined because it's flooded with that shit now. It is flooded with people. This is what I've seen in the past 3 days. There's a jacket that is very cute. It's like a puffer kind of little jacket. Everyone's like, this jacket? And it's just regular people promoting it. And it's so annoying. And then there's this checkered bag that me and you would probably like because it's a kind of motorsporty, super cute, like a little crossbody bag. I have seen so many people like, and by the fucking way, here's another thing. Quit fucking saying this shit. Quit saying, did you guys already buy this? You probably wish you would have bought it because right now it costs less than a cup of coffee. No, it fucking doesn't, you dumb bitch. What cup of coffee is $14? Not where I'm from, not from around these parts, and not from most parts. What? It is so annoying to see people say that because I'm like, who started that trend? And all of you were like, that's gonna work. Wow, this right now, you should buy it because it's the Black Friday sale and it's less than a cup of coffee. Or it's less than this. It's less than that. And I'm like, but it's literally not. It's literally not.
Don't lie to me.
Stop saying that. It's annoying me. And that's why sometimes I'm like, maybe TikTok should fucking go. I'm done with this shit. Because at this point, all I see is ads. And you know, I'm over it. It's not even good ads. Instagram will get me with an ad. Mm-hmm. Instagram, see, they're better than ads because it's not everyday people being like, do you like this bag? Do you like it? Because I finally got approved to sell stuff on TikTok. Do you like this bag?
At least Instagram's algorithm is when it's sending me ads, it's better
Stuff
attuned to like stuff that I would
Shit that I would
actually
like.
want to buy.
And the thing is, it's not that I'm not trying to hate on the grind of people do it. What it is they're feeding into everybody wants to be an influencer. Whatever. You do you. What's pissed me off is, have you guys not figured out a way in this algorithm? I've already seen this bag 4 fucking times. I haven't clicked on it.
Yep.
I don't need to see any more of it. So do you, dude. If you want to fix that, I literally saw in the span of me scrolling for like 5 minutes, I saw 10 people talk about the same fucking thing for me to go by. And I'm like, if I don't see something funny, I'm done. I am so done. So it's annoying. And I'm like, I don't know that I'll miss TikTok at this point because it's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, I was feeling that way a little bit with Twitter with ads, but it was more like the Twitter ads I was seeing on my feed, it was the same exact ad over and over and over and over, like to the point where it got to where I started hitting like not interested on the ads.
Yes.
Because when I tell you it was the same ad every single time I got served up an ad, it was that one. And it just, but it does it because I'll say not interested a couple times and then it shows me a new ad. But the new ad, again, it's the same one every single time. I'm like, y'all, can we just like change it up? Because you're just pissing me off at this point.
It's annoying. And
it's not effective.
And this is what's annoying is it's not like it's a ad that I can click. I'm not interested. It's literally a regular person who has just gotten enough followers to be able to do like this affiliate program that it comes across at first like it's a video. And I'm like, oh no. This is an ad. This is what this is. And now you're... Also, pet peeve of mine. Another pet peeve that pissed me off. I cannot fucking stand. It's linked to my Amazon storefront. Bitch. God damn it. I can't... maybe I'm hating the grind. It's not that... It's kind of like... I hate all the fucking steps I gotta do to go find this shit. Because some people's Amazon storefronts are fucking cluttered. Where it's like, oh, I want to see some bodysuits. Because the one thing TikTok is good for that Instagram, Facebook have not matched. You can basically use TikTok like you could Google or YouTube when it comes to searching for things. So if I'm like, Amazon bodysuits, it'll all come up. You can't do that on Instagram and Facebook. It's never going to happen. Yeah. That's not how it works. Like the search, it does not have like a good search engine type thing or anything like that. But like TikTok does. It's very good for that. So like that's the kind of thing I use TikTok for. Even like DIY videos, art videos, love that. The people that are like, look at these bodysuits and they look awesome. They're like, the comments immediately go, oh my God, what's it called? And they go, it's in my Amazon storefront.
Do you know what I used to find annoying, but now I understand that you say that, is that there's a couple of like fashion sort of influencers, but they're more like everyday people who wear outfits that would actually make sense for like me or you to wear, but still be like fashionable or whatever. So there's one particular woman that I follow and like, I love her. She's great. But then on a lot of her videos where she's like doing a try on or whatever, or showing like, here's some holiday outfit, like holiday party outfit inspo, tries on a couple different outfits. And then in the caption or in the video, she'll say, comment a specific word. And then I'll DM you the link to purchase whatever. Or I'll DM you the link to tell you where to find it. I used to find that super annoying because if the word was like buttercup, she'd be like, comment buttercup, and then I'll DM you the links and send it to you. I used to find that annoying because I'm like, you're just engagement farming because you're just trying to get more, like, why wouldn't you just put it linked in your bio? But she is one of those that has the Amazon storefront, but she also has what's that one website a lot of fashion people use?
Lemonade or something?
No, it's like LMK or something like that. Or but basically it sort of functions like where they have collections of things and they can link to them in different places.
A lot
in
of
different
people
stores.
do. I think I know because I see ads for it. I thought it was lemon something because I've seen a lot of
that may be a similar one. I don't know,
yeah.
But basically
it's kind of like a lifestyle type of thing where some people say it's kind of like Pinterest and something else made a baby.
Yeah, it's like Pinterest and like, but you can also, they have links to everything in their like lookbooks almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, but like you said, it could be kind of difficult to go and find the specific thing that was like, I'm like, oh, I like that one particular dress in that video. Where did she get it from? It could be kind of difficult to try and go find that in her little lookbook store thing or whatever. But then I'm like, oh, it makes sense that if you comment the word or whatever, like the buttercup on the comments she's like, okay, here, I'll just Instagram you the direct link.
But how hard would it be to just, here's a thought. If you got an Amazon storefront, keep it fucking clean. And if you know where you're gonna put some bitches, just put in your description, it's in my Amazon storefront under this. Oh my God, that's so hard. Bitch, that's ridiculous. Because I don't want to comment and wait for you to say some shit. That pissed me off even more, but it's not hard to piss me off. Because at this point, I'm so over people with that shit. Because I'm like,
I don't know. I feel like at that point, you can't please everybody. You just have to figure out what works for you as a creator to do.
Cool.
Because then I'm like, oh, well.
I'm over the whole.
Because if you're putting out a lot of content, trying on a lot of different clothes, and you're really active on these different like lifestyle type platforms or whatever, you're posting a bunch of different collections and try-ons and whatnot. Like,
how hard is it to just name the collection and just say it's here?
But the thing is, you could have like one piece in like multiple different videos that you post or that you rewear a lot. So I don't know. Like, I get it. You'd have to see like this particular person talking about. I've scrolled through her store and it's a lot of different collections and stuff. And I don't know. I get it. But there's really no pleasing everybody.
I would be annoyed somebody commenting. It'd be good for my comments. Then I'm like, fuck, did I reply to everybody?
Well, I mean, it pops up in your messages, I think.
Oh, then they have the access to, because that's the other thing is I don't want to give people because once you message somebody, they then have access to message you. And then, because it like creates that whole like link or whatever. So it's kind of like, for instance,
but I think
I might normally show up in somebody's like junk thing, right? Or whatever. But
there's I think 3 different.
Yeah, but once you reply, you show up in primary, unless I guess you have to mark it every single time. If you reply to somebody and then you have to mark them somehow to put them back somewhere else. I'm like, fuck. I don't know, that shit is so annoying to me. I'm like, can you just fucking say where you bought this shit? Like, you're making your money. But fuck me, bro. I'm not going to say. At this point, and also how the links work, the other thing that pisses me off, and this isn't really an influencer thing, if I click your Amazon storefront, why the fuck doesn't my Amazon app immediately fucking open? Mm-hmm. Why is it that if I'm on TikTok, I click that, it's still in the TikTok app. Yeah. So the function of it is straight up ass. Because it's not within the actual Amazon app. That's very annoying to me because I'm like, I'm not logged in to Amazon through the TikTok app. That's very annoying because now I have to log in. I have to do this. And then
you would think there'd be a better way to go for them to connect the two, because I do agree that does get very annoying because, again, the way that it like tries to open up Amazon in the app itself, because it does it for Instagram
does
too.
The same thing, yes.
The way that it tries to open it in Instagram is that it like it almost wants you to function like you're on a desktop browser.
Yes.
But I'm like, no, who's scrolling TikTok or Instagram on a desktop browser? Like, no, why aren't you opening directly to my app? Because also, I've had this happen where I get a lot of ads for books because I read a shit ton and I'm a nerd. But I get a lot of ads for books. And then if I go to click, the download me, read now, whatever, it opens it up to the Instagram Amazon page, but then it shoots it over to the Instagram app where it will very quickly open it in the Instagram app, but then immediately sends it to my Safari browser and opens it there. But I think that's also because you can't purchase ebooks through the regular. Wait, can you? I don't know. The way that like Kindle and ebooks and Amazon function together is kind of fucked up. Like it doesn't work all the way. Like I don't think you can purchase ebooks through the Instagram app. You can only do it on desktop. I think the reason they do that, I remember reading, is because the Apple App Store, any purchases made on your app, if it's on an Apple device, Apple charges them a percentage of, so like say you were on Amazon and you're buying, if you spend like $30 on Amazon ordering physical material things to be shipped to you, the Apple actually charges them, like they have to pay Apple a percentage of that transaction because the app is hosted through Apple on the App Store. But with like ebooks in particular, Amazon like prevents you, it's the same with like Spotify, but Amazon prevents you from purchasing ebooks and digital only things on their app because they don't want to pay that percentage to Apple of the transaction. They want to keep the whole profit. So they make you go on a browser and do it. It's the same with, I don't know if you ever experienced this with like Spotify. Spotify will not let you subscribe, actually pay for Spotify through their app. If you try to click the button, it opens it in a browser, because if they were to do that transaction through the app, they would have to pay a percentage of that transaction to Apple, and they don't want to. So they're like, nope, you got to do it in an internet browser on your desktop.
Why would they care about books versus everything else? I just feel very confident that I bought a book, because I feel like I bought my friend's book through that. And then I remember, because I used to have the Kindle app on my phone, and that's how I would read. And then I got an actual Kindle, and then I had to do all that. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure I did it on my phone. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But it's very annoying. So, I don't know. Maybe it won't be a big deal, because then TikTok's going to get shut down. But I don't even know. I wonder what's going to really happen with that. Because you're still going to have it on your phone. It's just not going to update anymore. I don't know. We'll see. But that's pretty much what pissed me. Those are the things that I've had. I had other things, but those were pretty much my big thing.
For Kindle books, I know you said it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. The iOS Kindle app, so Apple, Android, and Amazon app, don't support in-app purchasing for Kindle books, so like ebooks.
That's the Kindle app that you just said, right? Like, I couldn't buy a book on the Kindle app.
The iOS Kindle app, the Android Kindle app, the Amazon app for iOS and Android. So the Kindle apps and then the Amazon apps for Apple and Android don't support in-app purchasing for Kindle books, which Kindle books is just ebooks, basically. It's digital books that you then would read on your Kindle device or your Kindle app. It's not they don't support in-app purchasing. So you have to and it says customers must purchase on a web browser. And it says to purchase Kindle books, you have to open the web browser on your mobile device or computer and do it through there. Okay. Yeah, I know, because I'm in, again, book nerd. I'm in several reader groups, where people recommend books and discuss books and whatnot on Facebook and different places. Mm-hmm. And that's something they complain about all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb, because it's why would you care about the book part? I mean, you literally let us buy everything else through Amazon. So what does it matter?
I have no idea why it matters.
You care about that? That's the transaction you care about. That's kind of
It must
dumb.
be something for digital items versus physical goods. I wonder if they're charged differently. I don't know. But okay, one quick thing. So I saw this thing on Twitter that made me laugh. So it was basically somebody it was from a Reddit post where it was r/true off my chest. I guess they wanted to admit something. Mm-hmm. And so the title is, I gaslight my husband when we fight. This isn't anything crazy, just something funny that I want to tell people about but can't risk getting caught. My husband, 30-year-old male, and I, 30-year-old female, have been together for 8 years. For the past couple of years, I make him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day to take to work. I use Welch's Grape Concord jelly. This is important for later. Every day he tells me that I make the best sandwiches, and I just say, I make it with love. However, when we're fighting, he always says he can taste the difference in his PB&J, and I say, because I made it with hate. But the truth is, he can taste the hate in his sandwich, because when we fight, I use organic sugar-free grape jam. It's in the back of the fridge and he's never seen it. So it's what I use to convince him that he can't make me mad, or my anger makes food taste different.
You know, I the second you started talking about the sandwich, I was like, oh, I saw this. And I think somebody on TikTok talked about it, but I was like, that's so fucking funny.
That's the sort of petty.
That's okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
just no, it doesn't actually affect anything.
No.
But it makes me feel better. And that
100%.
Don't make me mad. Don't do stupid stuff.
No, that's right. I saw that.
And your PB&J won't taste like ass.
Yeah, now it's going to taste like ass because you pissed me off. And as long as you don't, it's going to taste yummy. Yeah, that would be... Sugar-free fucking jam is disgusting.
Yeah, the texture's different.
That's
the taste
kind of
is different. It's not as
good.
Sweet.
It's not good.
And artificial sugar is supposed to replace regular sugar. And it does for my coffee. But in jams...
Some situations, it's just not going to get the job done.
No.
It can't get it done.
Especially, I guess, if it's organic and blah, blah, blah.
Organic's not even a real word.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Non-GMO. And I'm like, no, put some corn syrup in that bitch.
What does that even mean? It's organic. I'm like, well, technically everything at some point is organic.
There's some... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a marketing thing.
Yeah, well, because I think it's not even a regulated word.
Yeah.
I think there was the whole controversy that organic's not even a regulated word.
Certified organic. Certified by who?
By who? Who? Anyway. Well, guys, that's us.
Yeah.
So if you want to submit a story for us to read, which we haven't done in a while, but if you have a story of that you were yelling or you were yelled at and you want us to be the judge of if you should have been yelled at or if someone else should have been yelling or you want some advice on something, you can submit some stories at waypod, which is WAYYPOD.storytime@gmail.com. So again,
It'll also be on screen and linked in the description.
But for audio listeners, it is waypod.storytime@gmail.com, and waypod is spelled with 2 Y's, so WAYYPOD. So yeah, that is us. We're going to try to be better at actually being here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is already an improvement.
Yeah.
We're already here.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we would love to hear from you. So hopefully we'll have some stories next time, but I guess we'll just catch you later and yell at you later. So peace out.
Bye.
Bye.